Hey guys, welcome back to Loop Nation Reviews. This is part of the double release as a way of making up for not having content come out as frequently as I hope it would. But yeah, look, let's get into it. You know, today we're doing a review on a mixtape for John 94 titled John 94. It's a very chilled out mixtape. I think it's a 7-track project, 7-track EP. Very chilled out, nice jazzy samples that occur throughout the albums. Just nice if you want to just sit back, zone out, or go for a drive, kind of thing. It's not very long, but it's definitely got some nice sounds on it. Getting into it, you've got some good bars. They're very well constructed. Appropriate rhyme schemes, especially they go with the beats that you've got. A lot more slower kind of pace beats. You definitely matched the energies, and what a lot of people do is they have slow beats but then they rap really fast, and it doesn't match very well. But you've done a great job in the sense that you've paced yourself pretty well in your rhymes together with the beat, so props to that. You've got on following down this tracks down to, actually first, I did like your introduction. The intro is just a nice scene setting kind of thing. It definitely set the scene exactly what an intro is supposed to do. So yeah, sorry, meant to mention that. But following down onto the song, I think Found Her is a good song. I liked it. You had a good hook structure, but I think you could have been a bit more creative with that bar, the I think bit. I think, no pun intended, you could have done it a bit more creatively, and I don't know, I guess it is hard. It is hard coming up with a good hook, which I think you got the structure down. You could have probably had more variation with the words or something like that in there. Other than that, it was pretty good. The verses and bars, I mean, like I said before, yeah, they're all pretty relaxed, chilled out. They were pretty synchronous with the beats. Although, I do also want to say that, given that this is a mixtape, especially a rap mixtape, there was no track on there that showed me that you could rap your ass off. And I don't think, that's not to say I don't think you can. I think you're very capable of coming up with a good, just rap, just hard bars. I don't think there was no track on the project that made me go, wow, this guy can really go hard. But in saying that, I do understand for the most of the project you had just jazzy samples, and they were pretty chilled out, so I don't know where you'd be able to fit it in there, but that's something that's just my opinion personally. Take it with a grain of salt if you would. But yeah, sound production, your production value is good. I like it. It was good mixing, easy to listen to, very easily digestible. Your soundscapes were crafted very well. If you produce that, props. But however, it was done pretty well. Definitely that was the first thing I noticed about when I listened to it. There's great spacing within the sounds. I think Miles Davis once said, great music comes from the space between sounds, and that's something I heard the other day, and I definitely thought about that when I was listening to this project, so that was good. I like your uses of vocal stacking, here and there. Although I think with back to the beats, I think with the jazzy samples that you have, it may have come off with a better sound if you use acoustic drums and recorded with that. I don't know what your limitations are and what you had access to or didn't have access to. I personally think that acoustic drums might have sounded a touch better than the synthesizers you used, although it wasn't too bad. It still matched pretty well. That's just something I think you could have done there. Your concepts within the bars were pretty good. Not bad. It had some R&B kind of vibes to it as well. Although I didn't find that your concepts within the project, so your songs didn't really cohesively tie. They didn't really flow, if you know what I mean, from like one track to the next. It didn't feel very cohesive at all, because we jump on from like the track about Found Her to the next track. In between there was no transition. There are ways of doing that. There are ways of, I think it just comes down to how your concept of the album, your album concept, if you had one, and if you chose to, consciously chose to have it like this, it doesn't really, to me at least, didn't really work out. However, it's not bad. It's not the worst thing in the world. I personally wanted to hear more about you as John94. Who is this artist? Who is this kid that's rapping? I think you did a decent job, but I definitely had a lot of questions about that, about who you were when I was listening through the track, and I don't feel that was addressed much. Again, that's something that you would have to have made a conscious decision about prior to writing your bars and all that. I would suggest having a track somewhere in the intro just telling us who you are, but it's, maybe that would have worked, maybe that didn't work, maybe that's something you could think about your next project, which I think you've mentioned, called The Concept, that's coming up. All in all, it's a great project. Not bad at all. I think you had the right amount of tracks, 7, and 2 of which were intros and outros, so it's effectively 5 tracks, or 4 if I'm not mistaken. It was a good length, because I could easily sit there and listen to it without, because usually what happens when people send me stuff, or anyone, I guess, if you're getting a 20-track album, that's a lot to go through for someone you're not familiar with. You're not sure if you like them. This was a great length that you've chosen, and you can see that you've put a lot more energy, you've put a lot of your focus and all your energies into making these 4 or 5 great tracks. I don't really have much advice to give you, to be honest. You seem to be on track, you're working hard, keep grinding. You can see how hard you've been grinding. I can see this in the music. You've come up with great product. I am genuinely keen to see your next, The Concept. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you have any questions, what did you think? What did you think of the album? I will put the link in the description below. Tell us what you think. I'm actually curious to see what you guys think in respect to my opinion, because these are, at the end of the day, just my opinion. So I can't, I'm not going to guarantee that my opinion is always going to be right, but it is my opinion. Anyways, thank you for watching Loop Nation Reviews.